Have you ever felt like your brain has its own sense of humor? Like when you walk into a room and forget why you're there? Or when you're sure someone's mad at you, but it's all in your head? Well, what if we told you that reality, as you see it, might just be a story your brain makes up? Hello, friends, and welcome to Brainwaves. Yep, your mind is like that unreliable narrator in a movie. Let's explore how your brain is involved in projection. Projection is a psychological defense mechanism where an individual unconsciously projects their own thoughts, feelings, or traits onto someone else. It often happens when people have thoughts or feelings that are difficult for them to accept. Instead of acknowledging these feelings as their own, they project them onto another person, as if the other person has these thoughts or emotions. Part 1. Reality, is it all in our heads? Imagine your brain as the ultimate movie director. It doesn't just sit back and watch. It directs, edits, and adds special effects. Sometimes it even throws in a plot twist. Our brains take in a ton of information, but instead of giving us the raw footage, they give us a polished version, complete with illusions and jump scares. Ever seen an optical illusion that made you question everything? That's your brain going off script. In short, perception is a bit of a magic trick. It's your brain's way of filling in the blanks, and sometimes it's pulling rabbits out of hats that aren't even there. Part 2. How the brain plays its tricks. The visual cortex, the editing room. This part of your brain takes in all the visual information. But instead of showing you the raw footage, it processes it, edits it, and adds special effects. So what you're seeing is a directed cut, not the original reality. Imagination versus reality. Blurred lines. The same areas of your brain light up when you imagine something as when you actually see it. It's like your brain runs both the reality show and the sci-fi movie at the same time. No wonder it's confused. Example: phantom limb. No, not that kind. Where people feel pain or itchiness in a body part that isn't even there. It's like your brain saying, "Hey, remember that leg we used to have? Let's bring it back for an encore." Part 3. Your brain's favorite shortcut, cognitive biases. Our brains are lazy. They love shortcuts. It's like that one friend who always takes the elevator, even if it's just one floor. These mental shortcuts, called cognitive biases, help us make sense of the world quickly. But they often get things hilariously wrong. Take confirmation bias, for example. It's like your brain's personal hype man. If you believe something, it will find evidence to back it up, whether it's true or not. You think someone's ignoring you? Your brain will show you all the proof you need, even if they're just distracted by a squirrel outside. Another example. Ever feel like someone's judging you, even when they're not paying attention to you at all? That's your brain projecting your own insecurities onto them. It's like giving them lines in a play they didn't sign up for. Part 4. So, where does projection start in the brain? Projection starts in areas that deal with emotions and self-awareness, like the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system. These parts help us understand ourselves, but they also love a little drama, especially when we're stressed or anxious. The amygdala, a tiny almond-shaped part of the brain, acts like an alarm system. When something feels off, it goes into panic mode and sends emotional signals. Sometimes your brain can't handle it, so it projects those feelings onto someone else. It's like tossing a hot potato, except it's your emotions you're trying to throw away. Study time. Research shows that if you're more self-critical or anxious, you're more likely to toss those hot potatoes at others. Your brain goes, "Nope, I don't want this stress. Here, you take it." Part 5. Reality check. Illusions and perception. Let's talk about visual illusions, the brain's version of practical jokes. The reason they work is your brain fills in gaps based on what it thinks should be there. So when you see something that doesn't match, your brain just makes up an explanation. Like, "Oh, it's probably just a shadow or a ghost." This shows us that our brains don't care much about accuracy. They care about making sense of things quickly. And sometimes that means making things up. Part 6. Misunderstandings. The brain's awkward moment. Misunderstandings happen when your brain's imagination runs wild. Think of a time when you thought someone was giving you the cold shoulder, but they were just having a bad day. It's your brain, once again, jumping to conclusions and writing its own, terribly inaccurate script. Part 7. The big reveal. Reality is a best guess. Here's the big twist. The brain is guessing most of the time. It's like one of those choose-your-own-adventure books. It fills in the blanks based on past experiences, memories, and imagination. Reality isn't a fixed movie. It's more like improv theater. We never truly experience the world as it is. We experience a version that our brain thinks makes sense. And this version is full of edits, rewrites, and occasional plot holes. Part 8. Real-life examples. Our brains at work, or not. Projection pops up all over the place. Like at work when you're stressed, and suddenly you're convinced your coworker is out to get you. Or when you're feeling insecure and project that onto others by assuming they're judging you. The reality is, most people are too busy starring in their own brain movies to even notice. Part 9. How to catch your brain's trick. So, how do we catch our brain when it's playing tricks on us? Start with some good old-fashioned reflection. Journaling, talking to friends, or even seeing a therapist can help. Mindfulness. It's like pausing the movie to ask, "Wait, is this actually happening? Or is my brain being dramatic?" It helps you catch those moments when your brain is going off script. Conclusion. What's the story you're telling yourself? To wrap up, our brains are storytellers, but they don't always tell the truth. They like drama, shortcuts, and making sense of things, even when it means getting things wrong. So next time you're caught up in your own story, ask yourself, is this the reality or just my brain's version of it? Thanks for watching. And don't forget, Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think you can ever see the world as it really is? Or is it all just a brain-made movie? If you liked this deep dive into how your brain messes with reality, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We'll explore more ways the mind creates its own world, and how we can use that power to make our stories a little better. We'll see you in the next video.